Hi again, here we are to continue talking about React Native. And in the last video, we set up React Native, installed it through the command line, and created a new project. And if you created a new project, it should, the terminal should run through a bunch of commands, and at the end, it should say happy hacking and, whatever, right? So here's your project. And what we want to do is we want to cd into or change directories into our example app folder and then run our project. So, and you can just follow the commands here, right? So I'll actually just type that, right? Example, and then I'll cd into that project folder, and then I can say yarn start. Actually, before I do yarn start, I'm going to go to my example folder, which was this one right here, right? And we'll just take a quick look at the folder there, right? So these are all the files that are in here, okay? And we're going to edit some of these files later. Essentially, this one right here, app.js, is the base or entry point on the main file for the project, right? So we'll be editing this one, and we'll be building and adding our own components. React Native uses the npm package manager, and all of the npm packages get stalled in node modules here, right? And then our package JSON kind of manages those and keeps a record or manifest of the files here. Okay, so that said, let's go back to the terminal. And one more thing, before I run yarn start to run the project, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the project in Atom, or you can open this up in any text editor, and we'll take a look at these files in the editor, right? So I'm going to use Atom, so I'm going to type in Atom dot in the terminal, and that should open up this project or this folder in Atom, right? So I'll hit return here, and it will launch Atom, and then we'll see all those same files we just saw a moment ago here in Atom. So this is the file view here, and if I look at app.js, this is our entry point or the main for our program, and you can see that this is what we have here. So this is a typical React component. Let's take a look at what we have, right? We have a view with some style, and then we have some text objects, right? So it says text, open up app.js to start working on your app. That's where we're at right now. It says text, changes you make will automatically reload. Text is shake your phone to open the develop menu, okay? And you'll see we've got all the code here is written in JavaScript, and you can see that we've got a styles object here with a property called container. And if I look at the bottom of the page here, you'll see that that I've defined a styles object, or at least the default project does, right? It defines a styles object that's a style sheet.create. So this returns an object, and really it just returns this object right here, which has a property called container that has some properties here. And if you're familiar with HTML, you'll recognize these as the JavaScript version of standard CSS properties, right? So flex is a standard CSS property. Background color is a standard CSS property. Aligned items and justify content are also standard, right? So the way that React works is it lets you create components using these tags, just like HTML tags, though the names are a little bit different, right? So instead of div and h1, we've got view and text, right? So we write the code just like you would write it in HTML, and then we're essentially assigning an inline style to each one of these tags, right? So the style here is an inline style, and we're assigning the properties of from this container object to the style property here on this tag, okay? So we're grabbing this set of properties here, which is flex, background color, align items, justify content, and we're assigning those to the style property. So this is just like HTML, and you can style your HTML React projects in the same way, okay? So anyway, so that gives you a quick overview there. Let's see what this project actually looks like, right? So I'm going to go back to the terminal here, and what I want to do is I want to run yarn start. Okay, so I'll just copy that, and you can also do npm start, but I'll do yarn start, and then I'll run here, and it says yarn starting, and it takes a minute to get the package manager up and running. So we'll just wait patiently. And waiting patiently here. Oh, one other thing I forgot, right? Okay, so to test your projects, you can test them on your physical device, like your phone, right? Using an app called Expo. So on iOS, you'll go to the App Store and you'll download Expo, and you can run your app on your phone. You can do the same with Android. If you want to test on the desktop, which is what I'm going to do now, um, you'll need to have a copy of Android Studio or Xcode, and then you can run your app in the simulator on the desktop. Okay, so I've already got Xcode installed here, and I've got the simulator up and running, and my project is almost done running here. I'm just waiting a second there for it to finish doing all the things it does. Let me scroll back up to the top while that works, right? So a couple things happen here. When we ran yarn start, we started the package manager, and then it says, hey, to view your app live or with live reloading, point the Expo app at this QR code, right? So if you have Expo on your phone, like actually on your physical phone, what you'll do is you will open up Expo on the phone, and there's a button in Expo that says scan QR code, and you'll tap on that and you'll point the camera at this QR code, okay? And when you do that, Expo will connect via Wi-Fi to the package manager running on your desktop or your laptop, and transfer the JavaScript code that you have written here onto the phone in Expo and run the app in Expo. So it'll run just like it would run natively on the phone, but through Expo, right? So that's one way to test, right? And you can do the same with Android. To test locally on the desktop using the simulator, which is a software simulator that simulates your phone, your iPhone or your Android phone on the desktop, you can read the instructions here, and it says press A to open up Android device or emulator, or I to open the iOS emulator, right? And then they give you some other options here, so you can say press Q to display the QR code, press R to restart the package manager, right? And some other options. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hit I on the keyboard to launch the iOS simulator, okay? And so as soon as I hit I, it says starting iOS, and then it gives me some other options, right? And then it's going to build this JavaScript bundle and pass it on to the iPhone simulator, which I have down here. I have it already running, so usually it takes a couple seconds for it to start up, so you got to be patient. But I started it already before the video just to save some time. So there we go, we're almost done, and it says finished building, running in development mode, and now I'm just waiting for the iPhone simulator to open up here. Actually, there, I'll just bring it to the front. Maybe it already opened, but it just didn't come to the front. Yeah, there we go, right? So let me hide the terminal for a moment. And this is my app successfully running, right? And if we look at it very carefully here, what you'll see it says, open up app.js to start working on your app, right? And that's the line that we have here, right? So this is the text, right? Our app is generating this text right there, right? And then it says changes you make will automatically reload, and that's the second line here, right? And then it says shake your phone to whatever, and this says shake your phone, right? So this is the app, right? This is the default app that you get when you build, the app with Create React App or Create React Native App, right? And anytime I edit this or make changes, it will reload here. And actually, it's kind of screwing up right now, but ignore that. Usually it works pretty good. Let's make some changes just for fun. So let's say I want to change the text here from, open up your app and start working on your app to hello world, right? This is our classic programming problem. So I'll save that, and now it says hello world, right? Let's imagine I want to put a style on that. So I'll call this the hello text, and I'm going to go down to the style sheet down here, right? And this is a JavaScript object, so I'll put a comment in here, and I'll add a new property, and then I'll make a new set of styles on this hello property. So think of this as a class that you're assigning to a to a tag, right? You know, if you're thinking in HTML terms. And I'm going to make a new property here called font size, and I'll make it, you know, 36, okay? And in CSS, you would write this as font dash size, but these are all JavaScript properties, and when you convert all the CSS property names to JavaScript names, they become camel case. So we get rid of the hyphen and we put an uppercase letter at the word break. In CSS, you would normally do this as 36 points, right, or 36 pixels, or 2 M's or something, right? In React Native, they don't use the unit in the same way, so everything is points. So if we do 36, that's 36 points. So usually in React Native, there's a couple exceptions, but usually everything that you do that's a numeric, you just use the number without the unit, okay? So I'll do 36 points, and then maybe I'll make it font weight. Font weight. And for a value like center, or in our case bold, right? You'll just put that as a string. And you do the same thing with colors. So for color values, or values that you suspect can't just be expressed as a number, then it's probably a string. Okay? So I'll make this font weight bold. And what I'd like to do is take these styles that are under hello, the key hello, I want to apply them to the hello world text. So I'll say style equals, and then I use the curly brackets to denote an expression, and then these styles are on the styles object, so I'll take styles here and then say dot hello. So hello is the key here on this object. And when I do that, I get hello world at 36 points, bold. Okay, so that's just a really super quick introduction to getting your projects up and running on the simulator and editing them, you know, to make changes with React Native, right? So anyway, thanks for watching, and then I hope that that's helpful. And I'll have some other follow-up videos that you can follow, and we'll talk about some more features and how to work with React Native.